Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite books in the mystery genre. So I have actually done a top 5 in the past. Back in 2018, I had to look through all my top 5s and see when I last did this. I did back in 2018 do a top 5 mystery novels. And I was like, I'm going to do another one. It's been a couple years. I've read quite a number of more mysteries in the meantime since then. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a part 2, see what I've added to that list. So yeah, all of these books fall somewhere within like the mystery thriller genre, I'll kind of classify it as that, mystery slash thriller, because I think they kind of can coincide wonderfully with one another. So yeah, let's get going. At number 5, I have The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman. And this is the most recent addition to the list. This is a book that I read and enjoyed last year. This follows a young woman. She is a British actress who primarily has been starring in historical period dramas, but she is going to Hollywood in Los Angeles to do some auditions for pilot season. So while she's at one of her auditions, she meets another young woman, and this young woman is kind of in a little bit of need, and our main character helps her out with something really quickly. But when she comes back to the audition room, the young woman that she just met is gone. And the receptionist is like, who? I don't know who you're talking about, So this is where the mystery of this novel kind of falls into place, because our main heroine, she knows what she saw. She knows there was another young woman in the auditioning room with her, and they chit-chatted, and she helped her out with a quick chore really quickly. But yeah, where did this other young woman disappear to, she can't be a figment of our heroine's imagination, So yeah, I really love the mystery of this book. Our main protagonist just really determined to find out, okay, where is this other young missing woman, I need to find out who she is, where she works, where she lives, and it becomes rather an obsession with her, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, in a book like this. Yeah, what I particularly liked about this book as well, because Catherine Steadman, the author, she is an actress as well. She's a British actress, and she has appeared in a lot of British period dramas. What I liked about the fact that Catherine Steadman was writing this book, like I said, she's an actress, she knows what it takes to be an actor, going to Hollywood, doing auditions. There is definitely an authenticity to this narrative and a believability that I greatly appreciated, and it just made the whole narrative, because there are things about the narrative that can be really far-flung and far-fetched and just so crazy and bizarre, but it's like Catherine Steadman, because she still kind of knows what she's talking about, you can buy into it, because there's something that feels very authentic to what's going on to certain particular scenes in this book and whatnot. So yeah, I did highly enjoy this book last year. I love anything that deals with like actors and Hollywood and whatnot. At number 4, The Ghost by Robert Harris. I love this book, you guys. I actually watched the movie before this book. There was a movie that came out quite a number of years ago that starred Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan and Olivia Williams. I love the movie, and I finally got around to reading this book a couple years ago, and I just really greatly enjoyed it. This is a book, it's about our leading narrator, and the thing is, our narrator never gets a name, so as I'm talking about him, I'm purposely going to be calling him the narrator because our narrator never gets a name, which kind of nicely goes with the title, The Ghost, because it's like he himself is almost like a ghost, I kind of like that dualness right there. But yeah, our narrator, he is a ghostwriter. He gets called to finish another work. There is a very controversial prime minister, British prime minister, and he was like a former prime minister, and he was like writing his memoirs or whatever, his biography, and his original ghostwriter died under some mysterious circumstances. So that's where our narrator comes into play. He needs to be the new ghostwriter to help this former British Prime Minister finish up his memoirs or whatever, if that makes sense. Did all that make sense? I feel like I got things like out of order and it's all crazy. So this is definitely like a political mystery thriller, because our narrator, he has to figure out, okay, what happened to the other ghostwriter? Does it have to do something with political motives? You know, did he learn something about the former British Prime Minister that maybe he shouldn't have learned about, you know? Did the former British Prime Minister have this guy killed, you know? Do I need to worry that he might kill me? So this is definitely like a political thriller, a psychological thriller in some ways. Just so fast-paced, and just something always kind of constantly going on. Very, very engaging, I found. I just absolutely loved this book, the whole mystery of it. Yeah, definitely gets your heart pumping, gets your heart racing, because you don't know what to expect at any given point in this book, I feel like, because anything can kind of just shift with the turn of a switch and whatnot. So yeah, if you've never read this book, or hell, just go watch the movie at least, because I think this is a pretty good adaptation. The movie was a pretty good adaptation of this book. But yeah, I really like this book a lot. At number 3, The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. And this is another book where another young woman disappears. I love books where just somebody just up and vanishes. And it's like, okay, I know what I saw. I spoke to this person. Where'd they go? I love books like that. So yeah, this book follows a woman. She is invited to get on this luxury cruise liner, spend a week on this cruise liner. So yeah, of course, this is called The Woman in Cabin 10. The woman in Cabin 10, who is next to our main character's cabin, they have a conversation with one another at some point at the start of this book, but then our main character, she kind of hears like a scuffle going on in Cabin 10, and she doesn't really think much about it, but then like the next day, if I'm remembering correctly, she knocks on the door. There's nobody even in that cabin, but there just seems something off about the cabin. So then, yeah, when our main character is asking the crew, hey, what happened to the woman in Cabin 10? The crew are like, what woman in Cabin 10? We didn't have anybody assigned to that cabin. What? So, what I love about this book, or just in general with mystery thrillers, I love when mystery thrillers are like just they're stuck in one location. And that's exactly what you have with this book. Our main character, she is stuck for a week on this luxury cruise ship with a bunch of other strangers, and they're just out in the middle of the ocean. There is no escape. There's nowhere to go. So that really does a lot with the narrative of this, really creating a great atmosphere, a great mood and vibe, just really giving it this wonderful, creepy, atmospheric kind of story going on, and claustrophobia. That's what I'm trying to say. Really giving you this great sense of claustrophobia as well, because there's nowhere to go. And yeah, our main character, she knows that she spoke with the woman in Cabin 10. And she feels like this woman has been murdered, you guys. So it is kind of a thing of, well, did she get thrown overboard, you know? What's going on there? Or is her body somewhere on this ship? But either way, she needs to figure out who the murderer possibly could be, you know? So I did. This was actually the first Ruth Ware book that I read. And this got me immediately hooked on Ruth Ware. And I have continued to purchase Ruth Ware ever since. I think I would definitely recommend this as a good starting place for Ruth Ware. If you've never picked up Ruth Ware before, I think this would be a really fantastic starting place, because just such a really great atmosphere and mood to it that's so chilling and creepy. At number 2, The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I had a difficult time. I was like, oh man, which Dan Brown book do I put on this list? Because I really like all of Dan Brown's books, all of them that deal with Robert Langdon, the main character Robert Langdon. I like all the books, so I was like, I'll just go with the easiest one here and go for The Da Vinci Code. I think everybody knows what The Da Vinci Code is about, right? I mean, we had the Tom Hanks movie and whatnot. You know, I seriously really like these Dan Brown books. Dan Brown gets a lot of hate and there's a lot of negativity, but I really enjoy these books. I find them just really entertaining and thrilling, and they do their job. You know, I don't sit and take them overly seriously. I think some people just take them overly seriously, and it's like, just have fun with it, lighten up, you know, because that's how I definitely read these books. I find them really engaging and thrilling, and just going along for the ride, you know, and just globe trotting. I love mysteries that kind of globe trot all over the place, like treasure hunt type mysteries and whatnot. But yeah, this book here, the Da Vinci Code, our main character, Robert Langdon, he's called into the Louvre in Paris, and the curator there has been brutally murdered, and his body is like covered in a bunch of symbols and ciphers and whatnot. So yeah, Robert Langdon, he is a symbologist, and he immediately kind of starts figuring out some of these clues and riddles with these ciphers and symbols, and that takes him on a journey going through like a lot of the artwork with Leonardo da Vinci and whatnot, and he starts globe-trotting, and he's joined by like a female companion. It's almost like Doctor Who. Yeah, and we get like a big, huge, shocking reveal and twist here at the end of the book and everything. I think a lot of people know what the big thing of this book is, which is what posed a lot of the big controversies of this book. But yeah, I won't get into any of that if you haven't read this book. But I just really adore the Da Vinci Code. It was the first Dan Brown book that I picked up. I thoroughly loved it. It's such a fast-paced, action-packed book, and even though it has a lot to do with symbology and history and religion and stuff like that, even though there's a lot of that going on in quite heavy detail sometimes, it's like the way Dan Brown writes a lot of this stuff, he manages to kind of explain it so that way just the everyday person can understand it, you know, and he never like overly heavily like metaphorizes things or over-explains things, I feel like. I think he kind of does things in such a way that the everyday, ordinary person can understand this and really get into it and understand and kind of get interested, you know, like get interested in religion and politics and history and whatnot. But yeah, I really love this first book, or actually technically the second book, I think is what it is. And I really like the movie as well. And at number 1, of course, Agatha Christie had to make this list. I think in my other top 5 I put And Then There Were None. I love And Then There Were None. But yeah, this time around I decided to go with The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. And of course this has to do with the murder of Roger Ackroyd right there from the get-go. You know what you're getting. It's so difficult to talk about this book because this book is easily just one of Agatha Christie's best in terms of just some of the twists and turns that this book takes and just the unexpected nature of this ending. I'm not sure how many people even know what this ending is and whatnot. Nowadays, if someone pulled off something like this in a book, like how Agatha Christie does it, it wouldn't be really shocking or anything, but I think Agatha Christie, back when this book was first published and the big twist that she does, I mean, I think it was brand new and shocking at the time period and just really well received. And yeah, this is a Hercule Poirot novel as well. And the interesting thing is, Hercule Poirot, he's not really the star of this book in some ways. It's actually the village doctor who's the main star of this book, and he is the one narrating the whole story and whatnot, and Poirot is kind of really the secondary character. He's still there investigating a murder and whatnot. But yeah, you are not in his point of view like you typically are in the other Poirot books. So in terms of mystery fiction, I definitely consider this to be just one of the best ones, and when it comes to Agatha Christie, I definitely highly recommend this one as well, because I mean, people know all about like And Then There Were Nine and Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express. I feel like those are like immediate ones that people go to and gravitate towards, but I would definitely recommend this as one of your top ones to start with as well. So you guys, that is it for my top 5 favorite mysteries part 2. In the comments below, have you guys read any of these books? Plan on reading any of them? Just let me know. And yeah, what are some of your favorite mysteries or thrillers, however you want to kind of think about it. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.